I saw that the new store was next to P.F. Chang's, it really stirred up a memory for me because every time I think of Fortunoff's, believe it or not, I think of Chinese food, especially Fortunoff jewelry. I grew up in Old Bethpage, one of 5 children, and going shopping, especially when I was a little boy, meant that my mother would throw me and maybe one of the siblings in the car, and we'd go to Gertz, or we'd go to J.W. Mays, or we might go to the catalog center at JCPenney in Plainview. But every once in a while, we'd go to Fortunoff, and going to Fortunoff was something different. For one thing, it was always on the weekend, and more importantly, it was a much bigger group. My grandmother would come out from Woodside with my great aunt, and my father would come along. We'd all pile into the station wagon, 8 or 9 of us, and it was usually a mission-driven trip. It was pots and pans, it was housewares, it was bedding. But to a kid, it meant nobody was home cooking, which meant Chinese food. When we finished Fortunoff, and in those days, Chinese food meant Gamwa, which was a great palace, an ornate palace of Chinese food across the street in Westbury. Every once in a while, though, usually in May around their anniversary, my parents would wander into the jewelry section, and my father was a long way from being a romantic guy, and he wasn't the cagiest guy in the world, but he would usher my mother around the jewelry department and get an idea of what she liked, and certainly she knew what was up, but she was kind enough not to tell him. One time I remember he even bought a little $10 bauble, a pin, for me to give my mom because it was also Mother's Day the same week as their anniversary. But when we saw our parents like that, it changed the mood of the whole family, and we knew that the trip to Chinese food was going to be terrific, and nobody would worry about a second Shirley Temple with a little umbrella in it. So to me, I probably should say that when I think of Fortunoff jewelry, my mind goes to the pin I bought my mom for Mother's Day. But the truth is, it went to a feeling of knowing how good the Chinese food was going to be that day. And that's what Fortunoff will always mean to me, and the memory that it will always stir up.
Hi, I'm Esther Fortunoff, and I grew up in my family's business. Thank you for sharing your stories about a special piece of jewelry or something that touched your heart. I'm so proud that our family can be part of your family again.